Spoke last week about the Kli Roylis Kabel. To make yourself the vessel to accept the Torah. I'll just expand a little bit on it. The story that I should have told you last week. It's no gay, huh? It's no gay this week also. Tomorrow night it'll be the day. Tonight's the 49th night. 6 years over. You're going to enter the day of Kabbalas Torah. There was a Talmud in yeshiva, certain yeshiva, I don't know where, who didn't like learning, didn't enjoy learning, didn't see any purpose in it. So his Rosh Yeshiva took him to Rabbi Leib Steinman. So he goes to Rabbi Leib, and he tells Rabbi Leib, I don't like it. They say it's sweet, they say it's good, I don't like it. I say I like steak. So Rabbi Leib said he didn't know what steak was. Okay. And then Rabbi Leib said the same famous thing. He said, would anybody in the world say that honey is not sweet? Honey's sweet. Nothing's very sweet. The person has warts all over his mouth, and the honey burns his mouth when he puts honey in his mouth. For him, honey's not sweet. Is it the honey's fault or is it his mouth's fault? He says the Torah is not speaking to you. This person that doesn't mean anything to you. The Torah is not important to you. It means that you're not the person in the Kabbalah Torah. It's you. You have warts in your mouth. You have warts in your body. Warts in your system. It's not the Torah's fault. It's your fault. And you have a very similar idea where Reb Shach said that Midos Tovos, without Midos Tovos, you can't be Mekabel the Torah. Torah is only Mekabel Torah. I read yesterday an interesting in the paper that Rabbi Rucham, famous Rabbi Rucham Levovitz, was the famous Mashiach in the Mir Yeshiva about 100 years ago. And he ended up at one time living in Vilna for a short time. And he said his apartment in Vilna was opposite the University of Vilna. And he saw the Talmidim walk into the university, and he said the way they were dressed, and the way they were mingling, the way they were talking. He says it's not like a yeshiva. He says that obviously they're not approaching it with any kind of covet, not approaching it with any kind of yira. It's another thing. They do another thing. So they do it. There's nothing there. He says we approach our learning Torah. It's a whole different thing. We approach it. It's Hashem's Torah. It's Hashem giving us this thing. It's an interesting nusach that we say, Zman and Matan Torah saying, we're going to say tomorrow night. What is a Matan Torah saying? Matan is a matana. You know what a matana is? It's a present. Part of our problem is we don't realize it's a present. When you think Hashem gave us this thing, it's a hassle, whatever it is. It's Matan Torah saying, it's a matana. So Hashem gave us a tremendous matana. It's a special thing. We realize how chashuv this Torah is, how important this Torah is, how life-changing it is. It'll be a different story. That's a hassle. It's too much what they want from it. Zman matan, the matana of the Torah. Zman matan Torah seinu. And I always say we're not celebrating an event that happened 3,500 years ago. It's re-happening tomorrow night. It's going to re-happen to us. Matan Torah seinu. There'll be a matana from Hashem. We're getting a matana. Do we feel it's a matana? Or do we feel it's not a matana? To make ourselves realize that Hashem is doing for us, is giving us a matana of the Torah. It's a very special thing. Now it's an interesting, the Gemara in Yuma says the reason that Beis Hamikdash Rishon was destroyed was because lo baruchu b'Torah tchila. And there's a lot of kashas there. The Gemara discussed it. Marshal discusses it. There's a time of vote is arguing Rashi Shviach Chasdamim was a very, the people weren't so good. So what does the Gemara mean lo baruchu b'Torah? And they didn't say a bracha. They didn't say Asher Baruch Abanim before. That's a big deal. It's not a big deal. Why did Beis Hamikdash should be destroyed? So the Ran over there says the problem with lo baruchu b'Torah tchila, he didn't make a bracha learning Torah. It was nice to learn Torah. It was nice to study it. It's a science. You study biology. You study chemistry. You study Torah. Make a bracha. Asher Baruch Abanim mikol amim. Say bracha. Asher Baruch Abanim mikol amim. Hashem chose us and gave us His Torah. It's a whole different thing. It's not just a science. There's something very special about the Torah. If you didn't make a bracha before b'tchila, the Torah had lost its chashivos. And the Ran says because it lost its chashivos, so it wasn't important, and that's why the other things resulted of what is regular Rashi Chasdamim. Had you given the Torah the chashivos it needs, it wouldn't have been like that. And part of what we have to do to be Kabbalah Torah is to realize how choshev the Torah is, how special the Torah is. Matan Torah Seinu, it's a matana. Hashem wants us to get out of what we are. He wants us to change. He wants us to make it important to us. It's not so easy. And it's I always, they told you that they quoted me saying, and I don't remember saying it, but it's very true. Someone says, I hate learning. So I said, if you really hate learning, you love learning. You don't love learning until you hate it. And what I really mean is, you really knock yourself out to understand something, and to get clarity, and it's so hard, and you go over it, and over. Finally the light goes on. Wow, that's unbelievable. And you realize, this is really special. This is something. And that's when you love Torah, when you put the effort in, and you really try. How many will just sit back, and we try to learn, and it's just, okay, it goes in, it doesn't go in. If you really put the effort in, and really work on yourself, it's a whole different story. It's a whole different story. You know, we bench Rosh Chodesh, this past Shabbos, we're saying in the last line of the Hirot song, we say, right? We ask for certain things. Shetei Bonu, Havas Torah. It doesn't say Shetei Bonu Limad Torah. Shetei Bonu Torah. Havas Torah. Why do you say Havas Torah? Limad Torah, Torah, what do you Havas Torah? Because the prerequisite of learning is a Havas Torah. You love something, you love it, you love your mother, you love your girlfriend, you love somebody. Hava. There's a connection. It's something special to me. I'm ready to go out of my way. You know, you mitzvah Hashem, get married one of these days, and you'll have a wife, and you want to love your wife. And Chazal tell us, have from the word have, to give. Havas Torah. Because I'm ready to give it whatever it needs, because I love it. I love it. It's Hashem's matana to me. So that's part of what we have to work on. Is the matana that Hashem gave us, a Havas Torah. And that's the bakasha we make. Shetei Banu a Havas Torah. Let's have a Havas Torah. One, Hashem help me get to that point. Something to daven for, something to ask for, and something to want, and something to work on. Right? It's in the tefillah. We ask for it, but it doesn't come automatically. We ask for it, and we have to work on it, to try to get it. But without it, we're going to miss it. I got to make myself that person in the Kabbalah Torah. I have to get rid of the warts in my mouth, make the honey sweet. Why is the honey not sweet? Because it's not sweet to me. It's sweet, it's special, but not to me. Not to me, because I'm full of warts. I got to work on the warts. I got to make myself that person that the Torah wants to go to. I always say, Torah is a bulldozer, it can change everything. But it doesn't want to go certain places. I give a mushal sometimes that you have a Stradivarius violin. Anybody know a Stradivarius violin? Stradivarius is a famous Italian violin maker. And there's about 6 Stradivarius violins still in the world. And the violinist will tell you how much better the sound is. I mean, people like me don't hear the difference in a Stradivarius violin or acoustic guitar. You know, it's all the same. It's a string instrument. But if you're a mumche, you know what a Stradivarius violin is. If you had a Stradivarius violin and your toilet was blocked, would you use a Stradivarius violin to unblock your toilet? Of course not. The Torah doesn't want to go certain places. The Stradivarius violin is not going to the toilet bowl, and now there's a Torah not going there either. You have to try to make yourself that kind of person that the Torah wants to go to, wants to change. We had this chus probably 4 or 5 years ago, around this time, on our trip to Bnei Brak to see the Gedolim, which who knows is going to happen in this current situation. And it was hard to see him. In the last couple of times we didn't see him. But Moshe Hillel Hirsch is the Rosh Hashiva of Slobodka. So I remember we went to his house, and he spoke to the guys. And he says an interesting thing. He says, Moshe Rabbeinu goes up to Hashem, and Hashem, he said, comes down and wants the people to prepare for Maimon Har Sinai. It's going to be in a few days, Maimon Har Sinai. And what does he tell him to do? Separate. Why? What does he tell him to do? Tell him to learn, tell him to daven? Nothing like that. He tells them what you're going to be. Mamleches Kohanim B'Goy Kadosh. That's all he says. It doesn't tell more. Beyond that, there's no instructions. But realize you're going to be a Mamleches Kohanim B'Goy Kadosh. Realize who Hashem thinks you are. You're the Torah can change you, and you'll become a Mamleches Kohanim. Kohanim, the whole world, every Jew is a Kohen. You're a Kohen, meaning I'm serving Hashem, I'm teaching Hashem's word to the world. Every one of us is that Kohen. Not only there's a Kohen who duchens, that's this week's parsha, right? It says Yivarechecha, and there's a Kohen who teaches us. Every Jew is that Am Kadosh. Am Kadosh. What words to use? An Am Kadosh, a holy nation, special nation. Kadosh means holy. We're an Am Kadosh. That's who we are. And he says that should motivate us to realize what kind of potential we have, how special we are. We're not just anybody. We're not just a guy in the street. There's a famous Gemara, also in Yom Rabbi Yossi tells his household. He says, prepare a special suda for Shavuos. So why special Shavuos? He says it wouldn't be for Shavuos Kama Yossi B'Shuk. It wouldn't be for Shavuos. How many Joes will be in the shuk, in the marketplace? How many Joes are there? Well, every guy's a Joe. I'm Rabbi Yossi, the great Tana, because of Shavuos. That's why that's what I'm great. And that's every one of us. Where I'm Kodesh, Mamlechus Kohanim, only because of Shavuos. Only because the Matan Torah is saying them. The Hashem wants to give us a Torah. And each one of us has to feel that way. And by tomorrow night, realize we're in Am Kodesh, Matan Torah is saying them. Havas Torah, are we going to have these midos? Is the Torah going to want to come to us and take us over? And I want to tell you, if you think about it for a few minutes, and tomorrow night, if you spend a few minutes learning, I told you, I'm going to read the story of the Beis Yosef on what happened to him on Shavuos night. Rabbi Hirschhoff Alav Shalom used to read it every year between Chamarev. I'll do it tomorrow. A very powerful story what Shavuos night could be. But a Shavuos night is mamish, and they say that Shavuos is the Yom Hadin for Talmud Torah, for the whole year, Yom Hadin. So if I can just put myself in that mindset and use it's a few hours that we're going to learn, use a few hours to focus and really use this time, and really saying to myself, I want to make the drastic change. I want to get to the point of a Havas Torah. I'm going to really try to understand something. I'm going to work on it for a few minutes. Not easy, but the struggle, when you try, changes everything. That struggle. And each one of us could do it. No, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't go to people and say, you're in, you're out. Everybody was there. You're in. There was no such thing. You are an Am Kadosh. Unfortunately, not everybody heard the call. But everybody was told the call. And I always say, that whatever schus we have to be in yeshiva, it's a special schus that we're in yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael. And not everybody, you have friends with them everybody at Eretz Yisrael. And the problem, you live in a neighborhood like this, you don't realize that most of the people in this country, and most of the Jews in the world, don't know the message. Never heard the message of An Kodesh, Kohanim. They missed it. But Hashem let you know the message. Hashem liked you and loved you enough to show you that you're part of it. Your job is not to reject what He's telling you. Hashem put you in yeshiva, and yeshiva like Ordava, where Rebbeim really care about you. Must be something going on. I'm going to say something that maybe I shouldn't say publicly, but it's an event that happened. We went, this must have been 6 or 7 years ago, to Rav Hillel Zach's Alav Shalom, Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshiva Knesset Gedolah, was Rosh Yeshiva in Chever many years, the grandson of the Chavetz Chaim. And I had the schus of speaking to him a few times about the yeshiva. I have 2 sons who learn there, sons of Rosh Kol there. And he said to the guys, he says he knows about the yeshiva or David, and he's convinced, and I could never say this by myself, but I was very happy to hear it. He's convinced that you have a Zayda, an Alta Zayda, the grandfather, great-grandfather up in these, knocking a kisei kavod and saying, take care of my grandson. And Hashem's helping. The problem is, we don't have to do it. They can be knocking a kisei kavod. You still have the bechira. Well, I don't care if your grandfather's knocking, I'll just ignore him. Something to think about. There's a medrash, I always say in this parsha, a very powerful medrash, and I think it'll sum up a little bit what we're talking about. Very powerful medrash. The Alkut Shmoni, Maisa. What the story? They're 2 sisters that very similar, twins. I'm not going to say they're twins, but they were very similar looking. One was married, living in a certain town, and one was living and married in another town. One of the husbands was suspicious, and he wanted to, and he gave her haknoi, he warned her, and he wants to bring it to the Beis Hamikdash, to Hashkoso, to drink the Mayim Morim, Yerushalayim. Okay, v'holcha, she goes. La'osa, right, the Yirach Eretz. There's Achosa. She went to the other city where her sister was living, right? Amar lo, Achosim, ma ro le'volakan. So the sister said to me, how did you never come visit me? How can you visit me? So she says, Amr lo bali mevakish lashkol siyasi ma'amor. My husband wants to test me with the bitter waters. Amr lo ani holeches tachteich. Vishosa. Don't worry, I'm going to go instead of you and I'll drink. I'm good, I'll be okay, and you'll be off the hook. Amr lo lechi. She said, great, go. Love shabigdecho. So they switched clothes. Holcha tachtecha. She went instead of her. Vishosa ma'amor. And she drank the bitter waters. V'mnim says to her, and she comes out, she's tar. V'chazra l'bayis. She goes back home. V'chazra yotzasa l'krosa. Her sister sees her coming back, and she goes to meet her. B'simcha, she's very happy, she's fine. V'chabka v'nashka, she gives her a hug and a kiss. Kivin shenashka lo nitza ma'amarim b'soch pia. When she kissed her, the bitter waters went into her lips. Right, and she was umiyad mei, so she died. That's the story in the Medrash. So what's interesting about this story, the Ramban says that there's no mitzvah in the Torah that relies on the supernatural, except this mitzvah. There's no mitzvah in the Torah. There's no supernatural mitzvah in the Torah. Every mitzvah is, even though my wife said, "What about paraduma?" Paraduma is not supernatural. We don't know what tumah is. We know what Torah is, and there's a trick that gets rid of time, but it's not supernatural. You burn a cow and you spritz the asses, and it makes it Torah. That's not supernatural. We don't see any supernatural things. This particular thing, that if the woman is tar, she'll get a bracha from drinking the water. The Rashi brings that she'll have beautiful children, and she'll give birth in ease, and she'll have more children, right? And if you're tamei, your belly's going to explode. So totally supernatural, totally unheard of, impossible. And both sisters believe that it works. So this sister believes that Hashem could do this trick with a little water that's mixed with a little dirt, a little ink. That's all it is. Can check if you're acted illicitly. That Hashem could do that, but you could trick Hashem. Hashem could do this trick, but I'm smarter than Hashem. I could trick him. That's what she thought. She obviously was wrong. Part of our problem, we think we're smarter than Hashem. We think, I know better. I can trick him. I like to paraphrase Abe Lincoln. Abe Lincoln says you can fool all of the people, some of the people all the time, all the people some of the time. You can't fool all the people all the time. And I say, I'll paraphrase him. You can fool all of the people all the time. You can even fool yourself, but you can't fool Hashem. You can't fool Hashem. This woman thought you could say, I can outsmart Hashem. You can't outsmart Hashem. You can't outsmart Hashem. He'll find you. Hashem gave us a tremendous chance. And whatever we say, we have all these terutzim, why I can't, why I shouldn't, why it doesn't have to be. Stupid terutzim. And instead of trying to become that person, we try to run away. We say, Hashem will never find me, will never catch me. I'll get out of this. You think you're smarter than Hashem? Hashem gave you an opportunity. He gave you an opportunity because He says to us, it'll work. It'll work. There's no question it'll work. But you have to want it to work. You have to want it to work. I'm going to leave it with one other idea. It's also the Parsha. It's also a very similar theme. I'll leave you with this idea. Talk about Nazir. Nazir is, what Nazir is. He abstains from wine, from mitar, for a certain amount of time, and then he has to bring a korban, shave his hair, bring a korban. So Shimon HaTzadik, remember if you met him in Pirkei Avos, was the last of the Anshe Knesset Gedolah. Shimon HaTzadik was the Kohen Gadol, and he said he would never eat from a korban of a Nazir. He would never eat from a korban of a Nazir until he met a Nazir from a Darum. He met this Nazir once from a Darum, from the south, and he had beautiful, beautiful hair. And he says to Bini, "You have such beautiful hair. Why do you want to cut it off?" And the Nazir tells him, I was a shepherd for my father, and I would take the sheep to the wells. And once I was by the well, I looked inside, and I looked at myself and said, "You're a really handsome guy. You could make it, right?" And I said to myself, "Shota, Yitzhahara, you're a shota. The world doesn't belong to you. What are you going to take? What are you going to do? The world doesn't belong to you. It belongs to Hashem." And I said, "I made a nether. I'm going to become a Nazir, cut my hair off." Realized that it's not important to me. Why wouldn't Shimon Tzaddik eat from a Nazir's korban? Because he felt that Nazir wasn't an honest person. You want to make yourself holy. Are you really holy? You're pretending you're holy. Are you really holy? You're fake. Okay, he was afraid to even know this cause. How many Nazir, how many people want to do go to an extra step because they really feel that extra step? How many people are just fooling themselves? So he wouldn't eat from the carbon. But this Nazir, he said, when he saw his beautiful hair, and he says, he made a ned to cut off his hair off. This guy is special. This guy is special. He's doing something real. He's doing something real. He's going to cut off his beautiful hair because he knows he had a bad thought. And that's what it's all about, Chaver. What it's all about is being real to yourself and realizing we're being enticed by the Yetzer Hara every second. And if you don't have beautiful hair, you go someplace else and have something else that you think, and maybe I could sell it, maybe it will go good, maybe I can manage. And it's a fake. You tell you Yetzer Hara, it's all of Eino Shalcha. It's not your world. It's Hashem's world. You're here for Hashem. Eino Shalcha. It's Hashem's world. And that's what we got to tell ourselves. It's Hashem's world. I'm not going to go there. The Nazir said, I'm going to make a neder not to go there. I'm going to become Nazir. Cut my beautiful hair off. Hashem gave each one of us such an opportunity. He gave us time to be in yeshiva. And he gave us a chance to renew Kabbalah Torah. Zman Matan Torah Seinu. Matan Torah Seinu. Time to reconnect to the learning of the Torah. To realize it's a matana from Hashem. To realize how choshev this thing is. How important it is to me. Each one of us is going to decide, is it real? Is it a joke? Is it something? Tomorrow night we'll sit with our Gemara, with our Sfarim, and we'll look inside, or our mind will wander. Tell yourself, I'm Kadosh. Mamlechas Kohanim. Hashem expects me to get there. He gave me the tools that I need. He gave you everything you need. Nobody has the tools you need. We have it, right? Obviously, some people are smarter, but whatever tools you need, you have. You can learn on whatever level you're going to learn. But you have to want to. Havas Torah. Baruch Hu b'tefillah. I make a bracha before I learn because it's important. There's nothing more important to me. I'll leave you with one other idea that I heard many years ago. There's three brachas of Torah. Really, the machlok is 3 or 2, but okay, say there are 3. And there are 3 kinds of brachas. There's brachas ha-mitzvah, and brachas ha-nenin, and brachas ha-shevach. It says brachas ha-mitzvah, but you do a mitzvah to make a bracha. Brachas ha-nenin, when you want to eat something good, you make a bracha. When you eat your lunch, you have a bracha. And brachas ha-shvach, you want to thank Hashem for what you have. So he said it's not really the pshat, but it's a good pshat. We make a Torah with 3 brachas. What are the 3 brachas? Brachas ha-mitzvah, obviously. Brachas ha-nenin, if we really learn properly, it's it's better than a steak. It's as sweet as honey. Nenin is a hana. And if we realize what we have, the matana that Hashem gave us, the shvach, I could say then, thank you so much for what you did for me, Hashem. Realize it for just 2 minutes. We would stop and realize it, and realize Hashem gave us this chance to change everything. Shavuos is the end of the year. It means if we get on this Havas Torah, on the high of Havas Torah, we'll take it with us. And Chas v'shalom, we don't take it. If we don't get on that high, we'll lose it. Hashem should help us get on this high. Feel Zman Matan Torah Seinu. Make the effort. Put in the effort. Inshallah, we'll have a beautiful Shavuos and a beautiful Shabbos.